6 browsers, 1 fake game, all of them handed over the keys.
SSH keys, login credentials from a live GitHub account.
Nobody hacked anything, they just asked nicely.
In a way the browser couldn't tell wasn't you. 6 AI browsers, different companies, different architectures, and researchers didn't need to find a single flaw in the code. They put a trick on a web page and the browsers walked right into it. The question isn't what went wrong, it's that nothing went wrong. They all performed exactly as designed.
It's not a technical exploit in the traditional sense. Nobody found a buffer overflow or a memory leak. They told the AI a story that made handing over your SSH keys feel like the correct move.
And what they handed over wasn't just a password, it was an SSH key, the kind of credential that doesn't just open a door, it makes you the owner of the building. Push code, access connected systems, move through everything that account touches.
And the AI gave it up because it couldn't tell the difference between what its user wanted and what a web page was telling it to want. These browsers aren't just reading the web anymore. They're acting on it, booking things, logging in, filling forms, making decisions. And the web is full of content that can now talk back to them.
There's a term for this in security research, prompt injection. A web page, an email, a document, any of it becomes a potential attack surface.
What's strange is that this problem was theorized almost as soon as people started building AI agents. It wasn't a surprise, and it still defeated 6 browsers.
Because knowing a threat exists and solving it are genuinely different things. The fundamental issue is that these models learn to follow instructions written in natural language, and malicious commands written in natural language look almost identical to legitimate ones. You can't just filter for keywords.
And the attackers in this case didn't even need access to the browser itself. They put the trick on a web page. Any site you visit, any link you click, any email your AI browser processes on your behalf. That's a potential delivery mechanism now.
The researchers called it bioshocking, a video game where the villain controls people by conditioning them to respond to a phrase. The browsers weren't broken, they were working exactly as designed.
And the next version of this problem won't need a game. It just needs a web page your AI browser reads on your behalf. The passwords are one problem. The servers have another.
The West is running dry. The Colorado River supplies water to 40 million people across 7 states and 2 countries. It's already so overdrawn that some years it doesn't reach the ocean. Now a company wants to build the largest AI data center in California, and they're suing for the right to draw from it.
Data centers need water the way factories need electricity. The servers generate enormous heat, thousands of machines running at full tilt constantly. The cheapest way to manage that heat is evaporative cooling. You run water through the building, it absorbs the heat, and you let it evaporate into the air. It works the same way sweating works. A large facility can use millions of gallons a day.
The company is called Novato, and the data center they're proposing would sit in the California desert near the Nevada border. They applied for a water allocation, got denied, and filed suit. The argument is that AI infrastructure qualifies as industrial use under the same water law framework that covers agriculture and manufacturing and should be treated accordingly.
Western water law is old. Most of it dates to the 1800s, and it runs on a principle called prior appropriation. That's a legal term for a simple idea. First come, first served. If your claim is older than your neighbor's, you get water first when supplies run low. A farmer whose family filed a claim in 1887 outranks someone who filed in 1990. The question courts are going to have to answer is where a 2024 AI company fits in that line.
And it's not just Novato. Microsoft, Google, Meta, all building data centers in arid regions. The water demand from AI infrastructure is growing fast enough that researchers started tracking it like an emissions metric.
Farmers in the same basin have been taking cuts for years. Mandatory reductions, fallowed fields. They've been losing water rights that their families held for generations. A farm produces food. The desert data center produces compute. Both of them are now standing at the same shrinking river asking for their share.
There's no neutral answer to that. Courts are going to have to decide whether the economic weight of AI infrastructure changes the math on water rights that were settled a century ago.
While the West fights over water, another kind of liquidity question is playing out in crypto.
So, a stablecoin is a type of digital currency that's pegged to the dollar. One coin always equals $1. The value never moves.
The way companies make money issuing them is by taking your dollars and putting them to work. Specifically, they buy treasury bonds, loans to the US government that pay a fixed rate of interest, the same kind of thing a savings account invests in. They keep that interest. You hold the coin, they keep the yield.
Which is a pretty good business. Circle made about $1.7 billion last year doing exactly that. Tether made $13 billion.
So 140 companies, Visa, Stripe, BlackRock, Coinbase, just said, we're building one that doesn't work that way.
They're calling it open dollar. The yield doesn't go to the issuer. It goes back to the wallets and platforms holding the coin.
Why didn't anyone do this before?
Because the incumbents had no reason to. Circle and Tether built dominant positions, and they get to keep the interest. The incentive to change the model only exists if you're the one getting cut out of it.
And all 140 of these companies are getting cut out of it. Every time someone uses USDC or Tether to settle a payment, the businesses in the middle, the processors, the platforms, the wallets, they're moving the money, and someone else is collecting the interest on it.
This is a revenue share negotiation that happens to involve blockchain.
The question is whether the network gets big enough, fast enough that people actually switch. Stablecoins has lock-in. Tether alone has a $150 billion market cap.
Although 140 companies that include Visa and BlackRock is not exactly a scrappy challenger.
And every platform in the coalition has a direct incentive to push this over USDC every single time there's a choice.
The open question is whether Tether and Circle respond by sharing yield themselves, or whether they bet that $150 billion of inertia is enough to wait this out.
Henrico County, Virginia has 37 data centers. They're building 17 more, some of them on Civil War battlefields. The county became the data center capital of the world, and AI infrastructure is a big part of why.
And last month, the school district sent an email asking teachers to unplug their chargers and turn off the lights.
Because electricity bills went up 25%.
The data centers didn't absorb that, the schools did.
So the county that hosts the servers powering half the internet is asking a fourth-grade teacher to unplug her phone.
And Henrico County is not going to be the last place it has to figure out who actually pays that bill. There's a telescope in Chile called the Rubin Observatory that just started filming the sky. The camera is 3,200 megapixels, the largest digital camera ever built.
For context, a good smartphone camera is around 50.
It's going to photograph the entire southern sky every few nights for 10 years. Every patch of sky captured 800 times. Stack those images together and you get a film, not a photograph.
Astronomy has always been snapshots. You point at something interesting, you look at it, you move on.
This is different. You'd be watching things move and change and appear and disappear across a decade.
Dark matter, dark energy, there's still no consensus on what either of those actually are. Scientists think there are signals out there that have just been too slow or too faint to catch.
Until you have 800 chances to catch them.
Apple just pushed a patch for Safari, a set of security flaws that could let a malicious website break out of the browser and start reaching files, system memory, and OS processes it's not supposed to touch.
Safari has a kind of protective wall around it. A sandbox, meaning what happens in the browser stays in the browser, separate from your operating system.
4 of the bugs that got patched were found by AI tools, Claude and OpenAI's Codex, not by human researchers.
That's a first.
If AI is finding vulnerabilities on the defensive side, it's probably finding them on the other side too.
The same tools, just pointed in different directions.
The question isn't whether AI speeds up bug hunting, it's whether the defenders are keeping up with whoever else is running the same search. That's today.
Tether made $13 billion last year in interest on dollars other people were holding. That's what the coalition of 140 is actually fighting over.
And AI found 4 Safari bugs before any human researcher did. First time.
This is the Pulse Brief for Tuesday, June 30th.
Singularity Pulse is for informational purposes only. Nothing here is financial, legal, or professional advice. Views expressed are our own.
I'm Knox. Every Saturday on Pulse Deep Dive, one story told in acts. This season, how AI happened, who really invented the internet, and going back to the moon 53 years later. New chapter every Saturday. Find it wherever you listen.
Origins is a different kind of show. Every Sunday, we investigate the forces that shape the modern world, the geography, the science, the commerce, the decisions made centuries ago that are still playing out today. Find it wherever you listen to this podcast.